high school since they played.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
Are you tired of missing out on family life just to be treated like another truck number? Since 1986, Southeast Cares has been a family-operated business based in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. Being family-owned ourselves, we understand the importance of family, which is why we value it above all else. With our large number of dedicated lanes and our friendly staff, we are able to evenly divide your home time with the amount of time you spend on the road. We offer multiple benefits with large company pay, all while keeping a small company environment. For more information, visit our website at southeastcarriers.com or check us out on Instagram and Facebook.
At Smith Tax and Business Service, we offer many services. Along with personal income tax prep, we also offer tax preparation for corporations and partnerships. If you're a small business and looking for some extra help, give us a shout and we'll get you fixed up. Call Mary Beth Smith, Marion Matthews, Brooklyn Bates, or Michelle Staggs to find out how we can help you. Located at 208 Pulaski Street, phone 931-244-6633.
Head on over to Shaw Southeast Distributing in Lawrenceburg to find everything you need for your home, business, or fundraiser. To make life easier, Shaw Southeast Distributing now accepts EBT cards. Have a concession stand, food truck, or just your kitchen at home? Leave it to Shaw to fill your shelves with ease. Shaw Southeast Distributing delivers. Family owned and operated. Phone 931-762-7760. Follow us on Facebook or visit us at 1603 Ripke Avenue in Lawrenceburg.
Lauderdale County doing that girls tournament, and he's like, dude, y'all need to play these. Because Lauderdale County's girls have won a ton of state championships, but apparently this is like their best team yet. Yeah. No, that is a legit tournament.
Don't just find a job, find a career with Resource MFG.
Yeah.
The team at Resource MFG in Lawrenceburg has the resources and experience to find you a full or part-time position right away. Now recruiting for open positions in Lawrence, Giles, and Murray counties. Whether you're entering the workforce for the first time or looking to take your career to the next level, let your journey begin with Resource MFG. Located at 300 Ellingson Street in Lawrenceburg. Phone 931-570-2111 to jumpstart your career today.
And welcome here to the X Sports Network. We're here for the Hayden Burks Show. My name's Hayden Burks, joined by my co-host. He is not here at the studio like y'all are used to seeing him. He is back in Knoxville. Michael Marks, good to see you, bro.
Yeah, it's good to see you. I mean, some inclement weather issues have shoved me back east, but I'm glad I can still join y'all today.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously we'll talk about the weather. I mean, how you been? I know you've probably been cooped up like I've been cooped up. I've been here at the studio as much as possible, just trying to at least do something. There's not really been much basketball being played. If not, I don't think there's been anything going on this week because everything got canceled. Lawrence County was supposed to play on Tuesday. That got moved. They were supposed to play Friday against Tullahoma. That one got moved up. So a bunch of rescheduling and a bunch of just teams that are trying to figure out when they're going to play next.
Yeah, I mean, and see, we're right in the middle of district play. So, I mean, these games have to be played. So, the good thing for the, Loretto and Summertown is there's only 4 teams in their district, counting them. So, there's a lot of time that they can move some games around to hopefully get these district games in and hopefully not have to drop too many other games, to kind of fill them in.
Absolutely. With Loretto and Summertown, obviously the 4 teams that include Lewis County, Mount Pleasant, Loretto, and Summertown. Like you said, there's only 4 teams, so you can make up that schedule. But when it comes to Lawrence County, there are 6 teams in their district. You got Giles County, Marshall County, Tullahoma, Murfreesboro Central Magnet, Lawrence County, and the last team. Who's the last team I'm thinking of?
Is it Franklin County?
Franklin County, yep, that's it. I mean, that's a lot of teams you got to make up for it. And I mean, thank goodness that the Marshall County game hasn't been rescheduled yet. I don't know when that's going to be scheduled. But the game the game last Tuesday that they were supposed to play Tullahoma, That's been rescheduled for Monday the 22nd. So if y'all are tuning in to the show right now, the scroll bar, we tried to update it as much as possible, but we still don't have a official rescheduling of all the teams. I know, Loretta, you said, Michael, when's their next game?
They were supposed to play, this week. They were supposed to play at Lewis Tuesday and at home against Mount Pleasant on Friday. I'm not 100% sure to when those have been rescheduled for. Okay, hold up. The Lewis County game has been moved to Friday, January 26th.
Okay.
So that is all I know of for sure.
Okay.
That's the only one they've rescheduled as of now.
All right. Well, speaking of, and we'll go into it as my producer extraordinaire is trying to not get the camera here. That was awesome, Kevin. That was good. But we'll open up with a little bit of high school basketball. I know there really wasn't much to be played this week. So obviously in my notes I had Murfreesboro Central Magnet, but there's going to be a game before that against Tullahoma, and obviously that's another big rivalry game, as it sounds like the snow just literally collapsed into the building over here. Good grief, Michael. We can't get nothing
I
going on
feel
over
like
here.
I'm missing the show there now.
Oh, dude, you're missing it out. It's wild over here. But anyways, they're going to be playing Tullahoma on Monday night. And, Michael, that's going to be a good game for both teams. Obviously, the Wildcats are going to come into that game 15-3 overall and 2-0 in district. So they're looking to keep that district win streak alive. And same with the Lady Cats as well. They're going into 10-8 and 2-0. And I don't have Tullahoma's record on here. I have Murfreesboro Central Magnets because I didn't know that game would be rescheduled. So, just another district game for all those teams. And just, Lawrence County, both teams are starting to figure it out right at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, the men's team, they're 15-3. They're looking good. I mean, I feel like this was kind of expected. They have a first-year head coach, but when you're such a senior-heavy, team like they are and as experienced as they are, I mean, you knew you were going to have a good roster. On the other side, Lady Cats, a bit younger, but that 10-8 record might kind of be like, kind of scary. But 2-0 in district play, those are the games that really count here at the end of the season.
Sorry, I wasn't laughing at you, Michael. I'm laughing at Kevin. He's having to crawl under the camera to not get in the camera view. Ooh, man, that was funny. But no, you're absolutely right, because the Wildcats, they struggled against Franklin County. They won that one. I believe the final score was 62-56, and AJ and I talked about on several occasions the Wednesday show, and then that game also that they played on Saturday, which that got backed up due to weather. But that Franklin County team, even though their record says they're 6-12, they're not a 6-12 basketball team in my opinion. And same with the girls team. I believe the girls are 5-11 now, and same with them. They put up a fight against the Lady Cats, but then again, the Lady Cats, they've got so many people now that just are figuring out their roles. Obviously, they're out with Sadie Grace Cole. JC Scott, she's the obvious leader of that team. But, man, just like key role players like Sophie Cole and then Cabry Tennant coming off the bench sometimes. And then again, like I've noticed their starting lineup kind of varies between sometimes. Sometimes I thought it was going to be Cabry Tennant one game. She's starting. Then the next game it's Lane Kate King. She's starting for the Lady Cats. So, I mean, and that's the good thing about when it comes to Coach Wendy Scott. She knows what strings to pull to make sure to get the best matchup possible for the game that she's got upcoming.
Yeah, and you said it right there. Matchups are a huge thing in basketball. I mean, and the fact that, the Lady Cats have had some injury issues with some of their older players, it's allowed them to get some of these younger players some more minutes, some more meaningful roles, and it's allowed them to kind of, build for the future.
Absolutely, and we'll jump over to the Summertown Loretta side as well. Obviously, like you said, both those teams are looking to one team's looking to bounce back in district, and the other team's looking to expand their district. And like you said, Michael, I'll let you talk a little bit more about Loretta, but Summertown, their next, they were supposed to be playing, I believe it was Lewis County last week. I'm not exactly sure. I believe it was Lewis County, though. That was the team they were supposed to play. That got moved, so their next game, if anything's not rescheduled, will be against a rival Perry County team, even though that's not district, but Perry County, Summertown, Perry County, Loretta, that area. It's always a good game when those teams play each other.
Yeah, Perry County is an old district rival for Summertown, so it's good to kind of keep these old district rivalries kind of alive, even though Summertown's made the jump to 2A and Perry County's still in 1A. I mean, looking at Summertown, I mean, they're both boys and girls are 16-5. I got to see them, the boys at least, for the first time this last Friday when they played at Loretto. And man, it was a tremendous game both ways. I mean, Lady Mustangs got out to a big lead, and then Summertown jumped right back on them, and it was a close game down to the wire. And I was talking to AJ after the game, and man, if that was that game was 2 or 3 minutes more, Summertown would have had enough time to come back and win that game. I mean, they just kind of ran out of time. And in the boys game, Summertown's boys team is really young. They still have their veteran leaders in Kurt and Grayson Burleson, but the Mustangs were getting Mason Tidwell back, and that was the first game where he kind of looked 100%. And he held Kurt Burleson to only 10 points, and that kind of allowed the Mustangs to push away and get a pretty big win against Summertown.
Yeah, it was a good win, especially it was in Loretta, and they were talking about it. AJ was telling Dusty and I at the show on Wednesday, and obviously you were there as well. That place was jam-packed like it was against Lawrence County as well, especially with the new gym and everything. And, I can't wait. I'm not sure when their next game is, whenever Loretta and Summertown play. But when it's going to be in Summertown, that's going to be a good game as well for both teams. Obviously, the guys, like you said, for Summertown, they're young. They like to get up and down the court. They like to shoot a bunch of threes and go play defense and do it again. That's what they do. And they've got, offensively, they are a team that once they get going, they're hard to stop, especially with Burleson. Then you got the Sherman twins that can shoot the lights out of the basketball.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Summertown had, I believe, 3 or 4 bench players, each hit a 3. And that's just bench players.
Yeah.
Grayson didn't make a shot in the first quarter and finished with 27. And also, he didn't play the last 3 minutes of the game because he had a cramp. That's 27 points in, give or take about 17, 18 minutes. I mean, that kid can, when he gets going, I mean, he's hard to stop.
Yeah, he is, and especially, like I said, the Sherman kids, they're guys that come off the bench, and they play key minutes as well. Obviously they've been rotated in and out of the start line here and there, but when it comes to they're young and they're getting experience, and obviously, when it comes to that in high school, that's huge, especially when you're a freshman or a sophomore. You're playing, you're younger, you're trying to figure it out, but man, once you get to that junior or senior year and you've been playing those years before, the game starts slowing down a whole lot more.
And see, that's what I think is such a big benefit for Loretto having such a young team, because last year, Hayden, there wasn't an upperclassman on the team. It was all freshmen and sophomores. Now this year, those freshmen and sophomores are sophomores and juniors, and you bring back senior Clint Seymour to the team. It's a very experienced team despite being so young. And that's why I think we've seen them make such a big jump this year. With it's incredibly tough of a schedule they've had, at least on the boys' side.
Absolutely. So we'll finish up with the boys there, and we'll kind of go to the girls for both teams. As the Lady Eagles, they fell last week to Loretta. That was their first district loss, but then again, Michael, not to hate against not Loretta, but Lewis County and Mount Pleasant, but obviously, out of those 4 teams, there's basically 2 teams that are superior. Loretta girls and Summertown girls.
Yeah,
Summertown
and we
girls,
talked
like
about
you
it.
said.
Yeah.
Like you said, like Summertown girls, they came out, a little bit of a slow start, then they started figuring out, and then they kind of chipped away at the lead, chipped away. And like you said, 2 or 3 minutes later, Lady Eagles might have came out with a win there.
Yeah, I mean, they started out slow and got into a little bit of foul trouble. But the Lady Mustangs, the one thing they had done such a good job of in the first half was rebounding the basketball and not turning the ball over. And the second half, they started, getting some silly fouls, turning the ball over a lot. And it gave Summertown an opportunity to get back in the game with, getting some of those starters that were in foul trouble back in the game in the second half. And it made it a really good game to watch. But, listen, this Lady Mustangs team, if I've learned anything from them this year, they're resilient, because they've had some games where, maybe, this player hasn't showed up or this player hasn't shown up, and they've been able to figure out new ways to win.
Absolutely. And then going into next week, like I said, Michael, I'll let you kind of dive into the Loretta side. I've got their next game against Lauderdale County, but if anything gets rescheduled for Monday, we don't know just because of this weather. You got to get games in. And I believe, did you say there was a reschedule for Loretta at the time being?
They're playing Lewis County. I'm not sure if it's home or away yet, but they're playing Lewis County Friday the 26th.
The Friday the 26th, so they're not playing on Monday.
No. I'm not 100% sure. They may still play this Lauderdale County game, but I do not know.
Okay. All right, because I got the Lauderdale County game on Tuesday, so I didn't know if they play back-to-back nights on Monday and Tuesday like Lawrence County is, because they're playing Tullahoma, and then the next night they're playing another district game in Murfreesboro Central Magnet. Of course, then again, Lawrence County's got 6 teams in their district, and y'all or Loretta and Summertown have 4 teams in their district, so you got a little bit more time to make up those games. But we'll jump into that then. So, Michael, I'll let you talk a little bit more about this Lauderdale County team, and I know you and Sam were talking about the. We'll start with the lady side. Obviously, the Lady Mustangs are 17-1 going into their next game against Lauderdale County. They're 1-0 in the district, and this Lauderdale County team, they're 20-0. And so I'll let you kind of dive more into that one and what to expect.
Yeah, I mean, 17-1, 20-0. I mean, if you know anything about Lauderdale County for any of our viewers, they're a perennial kind of powerhouse in Alabama for girls basketball, at least. Ton of state championships. And, when I was down there at their girls tournament that was around New Year's, I talked to, Sam was my producer for those games, and me and him were sitting there talking. He's like, dude, this might be the best Lauderdale County girls team, that they've ever had. And, we see with that 20-0 record, I mean, they are no joke. And they've played some similar teams, Loretto. They played Deschler. They played Clements a couple of times. And, neither the Lady Mustangs or Lady Tigers have lost to those teams. So, even if, I'd hate to see this game move because I really want to see how those two teams match up. Because, the Lady Mustangs, they've been tested several times this year, and they've prevailed almost every time.
You're right. And especially this, you talk about prevail and matchup and everything. Loretta, they played a bunch of good teams, and there have been close games. But this is definitely probably the biggest test that they're going to face this year in this Lauderdale County team. This type of game, I've heard multiple coaches, like when it comes to certain types of game, this is the type of game where you know where you're at in the season. If you're ready for district play and you come out and win against a very good Lauderdale County team, give them their first loss of the year, or some things you need to work on. So obviously that's going to be a huge game, and I can't wait to watch that one on the X Sports Network. And we'll flip over to the boys' side. The Loretta Mustangs go into Lauderdale County. They're 12-5 overall, 1-0 in the district, and the Tigers of Lauderdale County are 13-8. So, I don't know much about Lauderdale County. Obviously, haven't looked into them, just because, that's a team that Lawrence County really doesn't play. They've played them in the past, and but I know that Lauderdale County, they're big, they're athletic, and they're strong. And I mean, just what do you expect when it comes to the Mustangs? Obviously, they kind of slow it down a little bit, but they can get up and down the court, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, Lauderdale County, they're always going to be athletic and strong, but I mean, that's Loretto's bread and butter right there. I mean, you got some big guys. I mean, it feels like their whole starting lineup. I mean, it's just huge for Loretto. You get Mason Tidwell. He hasn't played in a week, but Friday was one of his better games of the season. You give him an extra week to get back from that ankle injury. You almost have him back at full power. And the Mustangs without him at 100% were, probably not as good by far, but they just didn't look like they were gelling as well. So you get Mason back out there at 100% is going to be huge. You've had guys like Clint Seymour step up and have huge games. Kason Bowie's coming up big. Jackson Robertson's kind of get back in the swing of things, and Corbin Reynolds had an amazing game Friday against Summertown. 13 big points, and he really got the Mustangs offense started in that game.
Oh yeah, for sure, and especially with this break as well. I know it's a break that we all we were excited for at first because, hey, it's snow. We all like to see the snow weather. It's beautiful outside and all that, but it gets cold, it gets tiring, and you're just ready to get back to normal as well. And obviously, I don't know what practices look like for all teams in the county. I know that they tried to practice if they were able to safely get to the gym and practice. I know Lawrence County, they maybe have a few of them just to get just a little bit, get some shots up, get warmed up, get loose, and get ready for it. And then talking about the injury side, this is all players in the county. Obviously, Sadie Grace Cole, she's been out for the Lady Cats. I don't know if Summertown has any injuries, but then again, Mason Tidwell. Do you have any information about if he's 100% yet, or is he still nursing that ankle a little bit? Of course, then again, he's had time to recover a little bit, rehab, and all that stuff.
I would say he's probably as close to 100% as he's going to get. I mean, I didn't see him limping or anything after that Summertown game. I mean, he was up and down the court guarding Kurt Burleson, pretty much the whole time he was out there. And that was the most minutes he had played in a while. He tried to go against Lawrence County the Friday before that. And, it was very obvious to tell he wasn't at 100%, but he was still going out there and giving it his all.
He still was the leading scorer for that game for the Mustangs as well.
Yeah, he was. And then, they played Moore County the following Tuesday, and he didn't play much in that game. He looked a little bit, better, but, they didn't play him much in that game. They didn't necessarily need him. It ended up being a close game, but they didn't necessarily need him to go out there and have a big game. And then Friday against Summertown, man, it was like a whole new player was out there. And it's crazy that, 3 days can have such a big difference. But, going from Tuesday to Friday, he looked like a completely new player.
Yeah, especially with the great training staff at all three of our county schools. So we really appreciate them. Y'all know who you are. So we're going to take a quick break, Michael, and we'll get into our NFL segment about what just happened last week on Wild Card Week with all the other teams. So we're going to take a break here on the X Sports Network.
Rent Right Equipment has all the tools you need to get the job done. From bobcats to trenchers to augers to lifts, we have a large variety of equipment for every project, big or small. Need a new mower? We have you covered there too. With great brands Hustler and Big Dog, Rent Right is ready to serve all your equipment needs. Call today and reserve your equipment from Rent Right Equipment in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee.
There are now more ways to save at Quick Mart. Become a Quick Club member and easily earn rewards on qualifying purchases at Quick Mart convenience stores using the Quick Club app, available on the Apple App Store and Google Play. To save on fuel for work, use the Fuel Rewards Pro app to earn 5 cents a gallon on work fill-ups and redeem the savings for yourself. To get started, visit fuelrewards.com/pro or download the app in the Apple App Store and Google Play.
Do you ever worry about having too much in the garage? What about where you're going to put the mower or your ATV? Or better yet, your mother-in-law? Look no further than Quality Storage Buildings located right next door to Flat Rock Cheese and More on the Minor Hill Highway in Pulaski, Tennessee. There you'll find the answer to your need in a compact or spacious metal building. Built by hand right at Flat Rock by some of the finest craftsmen around, there's a perfect building for everyone, including economy, utility, cabin, lofted or garage models, and even an animal shelter line. Buy or rent to own, see the different models at Flat Rock or on North Main Street in Ardmore and on Highway 43 South in Dunn. Call today 931-363-3603 or 931-201-2205.
From our humble beginnings to today, Parks Lumber Company has continuously served Lawrence and surrounding counties for over a century. Although we started as a small lumber yard in 1896, we have grown to include everything you need to make your dream project come to life. No matter your building needs, our experienced staff will be with you every step of the way to ensure you receive the highest customer service and attention to detail you deserve. Visit us at 106 2nd Street or on Facebook. We guarantee you will see working with PLC is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Got primary care? Find your way to better health with primary care by One Stop Medical. With decades of combined experience, you'll find a one-on-one relationship just like the old days, but with the convenience and technology of today. When One Stop Medical does primary care, it's the best. Call today for an appointment and find your way to healthy living. Serving Lawrenceburg, Pulaski, and Hohenwald. Phone 931-244-8220. Primary care by One Stop Medical at its best.
Oliver Wellness and Massage, located in Pulaski, Tennessee, is your premier spa for massage therapy, salt therapy, IV therapy, tanning, and much more. Stay relaxed, look your best, and feel good at Oliver Wellness, located at 1187 West College Street, Pulaski, Tennessee, or contact Haley at 931-309-0462 or schedule your appointment online at 931massage.com.
Old School Rentals in Loretto, Tennessee is headquarters for all your rental equipment needs. Need a trailer? How about saws, tools, loaders, or generators? You can find all of that and much, much more at Old School Rentals, owner Ryan Smith, located on North Main Street in Loretto, Tennessee.
Shop McMaster's Home Gallery for furniture, appliances, and more. And shop quality, shop convenience, shop service, shop local. A family-owned business with a long history of serving the region. We're a one-stop home furnishings destination. We feature brands you know, competitively priced, backed by professional installation and service. You can trust that we'll take good care of you before and after the sale. For your home, shop smart. Shop McMaster's Home Gallery today.
Being raised in Tennessee, we believe in the importance of family and community. Creating a positive experience at our family-owned and operated business is one of the ways we share that belief.
Being in an accident can be extremely stressful. When it came time for my repairs, Mashburn's made it easy.
I am lucky to have a wonderful company in my community like Mashburn's Collision Center. It's reassuring to know that I'm in good hands because their work is second to none.
We pride ourselves that the Mashburn name is one of the most trusted in Lawrence County since 1981. Mashburn's Collision Center. Let our family take care of yours.
Are you looking for a non-factory job environment? Livingstone Freight Solutions is a 3PL company that began managing warehouses in Tennessee, Alabama, and Mississippi. With our multiple shifts and experienced management team, our goal is to give you, as an employee, a safe family work environment and competitive wages. We offer a wide variety of employment opportunities from forklift drivers to management level positions. We also strive to offer a competitive benefit package and PTO options. For more information or to apply, visit us at livingstonefs.com or give us a call at 931-269-3255.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
Boom, got it. Welcome back to the Hayden Burks Show here on the X Sports Network. As we're here for our second segment, Michael, we're going to talk about what happened last week in the NFL. So obviously, a bunch of stories, but there's been a few key stories and a few more news than a little bit of everything. So we'll start off with the games of what happened. The second seed Cowboys took on the Packers in the wild card weekend. The Cowboys nightmare continues. Another first round exit, and we all talked about it. Is there going to be another Dak moment? And sure enough, there was a Dak moment.
I don't think we can. I mean, sure, he threw a pick six, right before half. But I don't think this game is 100% on Dak Prescott. I mean, he threw for 300 yards and two touchdowns. His defense got let him down. I mean, oh my goodness. We talked about how good their defense was all year. Micah Parsons, all these guys. And they got torched for almost 50 points by, Jordan Love, who, we've sitting here, kind of, he's a young quarterback. But, man, he went out and, he kind of – I don't want to say this, and sound like all those – CBS and NBC guys, but he had like a Patrick Mahomes moment. He didn't play his first couple of years and comes out and has a ball in the playoffs.
Absolutely. I mean, he threw 3 touchdowns, and I believe he had how many yards? 357, something like that. But
I think it was 274 or something like that because he was 2 yards away from having the exact same stat line.
You're right. I'm thinking of he and C.J. Stroud had the 157 QBR, I think it was. That's the number I'm thinking
Love
of.
threw for 272 and 3 touchdowns.
Yes, I mean, just like dude was killing it, and especially like with what's upcoming next is the division round now, and so the Cowboys obviously they fall out, and now Green Bay they're going to be playing San Francisco in San Francisco, and AJ Dusty and I were talking about next week and what's coming up, and man, boy, that's going to be. I hope nobody is expecting San Francisco just run away with it because they're not going to do that with this Green Bay team and the way they're playing.
Hey, listen, Green Bay is the first. Now I get the 7 seed's kind of a new thing in the NFL playoffs, only its second or third year. The Green Bay is the first 7 seed to ever win a game, and with how they've realigned the NFL playoffs, they're going from playing the 2 seed, the first on the wild card round, to playing the 1 seed in the divisional round. So it doesn't get any harder for Green Bay, but if their offense and defense are looking like they did against Dallas, I mean, there's no telling how far this team can go.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with how they played against a Dallas Cowboys team that is very good offensively. They've got a Offensive Player of the Year candidate in CeeDee Lamb. I mean, they just locked him up completely, and then defensively or offensively, they just ran all over that elite defense of Dallas. So it's going to be a big matchup. I can't wait to see, how Green Bay responds, obviously, against a number 2 seed in Dallas Cowboys. Defeating them in Dallas like they did, just ran through them. I believe the score was 48-16 with
48-32.
48-32 was the final score, but 48-16 at one point I think was the score at the start of the fourth quarter, somewhere between the third and fourth quarter, something like that. I'm not exactly
41-16 going into the fourth.
Okay, so yeah, that's not a blowout. That's a butt whooping at that point.
Yeah.
But I mean, just Green Bay, and this is what we talked about on the show on Wednesday. How many franchises can say they got it right with 3? I'm not saying that Jordan Love. I'm not saying that he's the next savior of Green Bay football, but
man, he's pretty close.
I mean, he's pretty close. You got Brett Favre, then you got Aaron Rodgers, and now you got Jordan Love. And I started laughing about it, and we all got to laughing about it because I brought up the point. I said, "Man, wouldn't you hate to be a Bears fan right now?"
Yeah, you think, finally Brett Favre's gone. Maybe this Aaron Rodgers guy isn't good. Oh, finally Aaron Rodgers is gone. Hopefully this Jordan Love dude isn't good. Jordan Love torched the Bears the first time they played like that.
Yeah, and I mean, even though I think I don't think it'll happen, but I hope it does. I'd love to see Green Bay and Detroit, 2 division rivals, go at it in the NFC Championship game. That would be a dream matchup, in my opinion.
Yeah, that would show just how deep the NFC North really is.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. So we'll jump into our other NFC game. Philadelphia drops the wild card round. 11-6 overall going in, or excuse me, 11-6 overall going into that game, and then Tampa Bay, they were 9-8, I believe, to finish off the year.
Mm-hmm.
But man, Tampa Bay, they just ran over Philadelphia.
It was kind of like the Cowboys game. That was just a good old-fashioned butt whooping. I mean, I picked the Eagles. That was the one pick I got wrong all week. I was sitting, and that was the last game. I was sitting there. I was like, man, I'm rolling through these predictions, right? And that's usually something I'm really bad at.
Mm-hmm.
But I had some faith that maybe the Eagles would fix something, and that they did not. I mean, that was just bad.
Well, I think I'm not going to blame the coaching yet, but the first thing I think of is something happened within those last few weeks that I don't know if Hurts is hurt.
Well, he had that finger injury.
Yeah, I know he had the finger injury, and I think he had an ankle injury as well. And just I believe they went after that loss the other night. What was it, 1-7 after the bye week?
Yeah,
was their record. So I mean, I don't know where you go if you're Philadelphia at this point because.
Well, I'm surprised that they haven't announced that Sirianni's been fired yet.
Well, I was watching Get Up this morning in the office whenever I was doing a little bit of work, and I was listening to it, and they said they're more than likely there will be an announcement sometime today, whether they're going to keep it or not. Supposedly,
I have my TV over here beside me with the Pat McAfee show on, just in case any real news drops.
Yeah, we'll know for sure on the Pat McAfee show. That's one you want to tune into. It's hilarious, but also they talk well about sports. But I mean, when that situation, I would probably if I were organization between Dallas and the Eagles, if I'm an organization, I look more into the Eagles. But when it comes to Dallas, I mean, I'm not Jerry Jones. Me personally, McCarthy's got to go.
They've already announced they're bringing him back next year.
Yeah, I know they're bringing him back, but that's just me. I think McCarthy has to go. And I'm not saying I'm not giving up faith on Dak Prescott either, but you got to look at Dak Prescott too as in, okay, well, we can't get over the hump with this guy. And, then again, you said he had a very good game in my opinion.
He actually threw for 400 yards.
Yeah, I mean, he threw for, you said 400 yards. I think he went 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
403, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks.
Yeah, 2. So, I mean, he didn't have a horrible game, but still it's just, I mean, Dallas let everybody down. I mean, it's just one of those years of, okay, well, cycle starts. Oh, we're going to Super Bowl. oh, we're finna win the division. I think within winning division, kind of everybody's hopes got up once again, and then just the Dallas Cowboys nightmare continues. How long has it been since the NFC Championship appearance they've been in? 1997?
I think it was 94.
94? Yeah, I knew it was in the 90s. I'm not exactly sure the number, though. But anyways, we're off topic of what we were talking about. But, Baker Mayfield, man, I got to give props to Baker Mayfield. I'm not the biggest Baker Mayfield fan, and I wasn't calling him a bust. I thought he was more overrated than anything. But, boy, I got to eat my crow.
I think Baker Mayfield is what everyone thought Johnny Manziel would be. Because he's just arrogant enough to, act like an idiot, but he backs it up.
He does back it up, and especially because I believe I saw something, I'm sure you saw it too, that this was his fourth team in 2 years. He was with Cleveland, then Carolina, then they let him go. He went to the Rams. He obviously looked good to the Rams where the Tampa Bay brought him in. He was in a QB battle against Kyle Trask. Yeah. Man, he's looked good this year, and obviously, not many people saw Tampa Bay obviously with Tom Brady leaving, but man, they go out and they win their division. I mean, they, like you said, they just ran all over the Eagles, and the biggest problem to me the Eagles had was tackling. They couldn't tackle.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that was bad.
There was so many missed tackles. I believe it was Mike Evans that had the ball, and I believe they missed like 3 tackles on him at one time. But anyways, Philadelphia, back to that. I think there's something going on in that locker room, especially for Jason Kelce as a guy he is and such a good personality, for him to announce that. Then again, on I don't know if it's his podcast or the show he was on, I don't know if you saw that, but him bringing up the fact of, okay, well, I don't appreciate that being put out. So,
yeah.
So, obviously, there are issues in that locker room, I think, but then again, it's something that doesn't need to be brought up, and somebody's trying to sink the ship at this point. Because they were talking about it on Get Up this morning, Greeny and the crew. They were talking about it felt like they gave up on their head coach.
That's the best way to put it. I mean, the Eagles, their foundation is how, big they were in the trenches and stuff like that. I mean, they have a great offensive line. Hurts got sacked 3 times, one of them resulting in a safety. DeAndre Swift had 10 carries for 34 yards. And one of those was a 17-yard run. So 9 carries for 17 yards. That's not even 2 yards a carry. And Tampa Bay is not known for being that big in the trenches. I mean, I don't really know what the identity of the Tampa Bay team is. I think they'll just go as far as Baker Mayfield.
Their identity was Tom Brady at one point, but now he's not there, so they're still trying to figure it out. But I mean, hey, obviously it looks like Baker Mayfield's a long-term answer for him, because I mean he got the.
I think they got their guy.
I think they do got their guy, because I remember at the end of the year whenever they beat Carolina, I believe it was that 9-0 win against them, and they won the division. He got a $1 million pay raise as well for winning the division. So, I mean, hey, I got to eat my crow with Baker Mayfield. Shout out to him, because he definitely proved me wrong this season, the way he played. But anyway, so we'll switch over, and this kind of, obviously our question's been answered. The news came out that the Cowboys are going to keep McCarthy as their head coach, but obviously, I don't know if the news is going to be broke today about Philadelphia keeping their head coach as well. But, I mean, NFL hot seats for coaches, when it comes, Philadelphia, they're going to have to if they're going to do it, they got to do it now. They got to do it today or tomorrow. They got to have that meeting if they're going to decide to move on from their head coach. Because you don't want to get behind on the coaching search. Obviously, you got a good coach in Mike Vrabel. Belichick is still out there. Where's he going to go?
I'm surprised, I get the NFL's a lot different with, interviewing rules and stuff like that, with how many people you have to interview and whatnot. I was surprised the Patriots found their guy as quick as they did with Rod Mayo.
I think that was in the contract, though. I read something that in the contract that basically, I don't know what the contract words were, but basically it's saying, okay, if Belichick moves on, or if we get, if we move on from Belichick, he retires. I don't know what the contract says, but Mayo will be the successor of Belichick.
So, I think that's a great hire.
I think it is too. Obviously, not me just being a Tennessee fan and him being there, but I think he what I've read and what people I've watched and what I've read from articles from local sports medias that cover the New England Patriots, he is another type of Bill Belichick, but he's younger. He seems like he gets along with the players a little bit well. He's been on that coaching staff before. He preaches defense. He was a defensive lineman for Tennessee, played for the Patriots, won a few Super Bowls with them. Obviously, it's like a match in heaven. I know a bunch of Patriots fans wanted Mike Vrabel because he was Patriots, got inducted into the Hall of Fame for him. But I mean, I think it's a win-win for the Patriots.
Yeah. I think they got what they needed.
Yeah. So obviously that seat's filled. We mentioned it. McCarthy, he's going to stay with Dallas. Eagles, they're going to have to make a move because they don't want to get behind in the coaching search. I did read yesterday that Vrabel had a meeting with the Chargers. I don't know about that. I really don't know about that.
That seems a little weird for him to go West Coast.
Yeah, it does, and especially with – see, I think Harbaugh will be at L.A.
I do too.
I think he'll be in L.A.
I think he's interviewed for the Chargers job.
Yeah, I believe he's interviewed for the Chargers.
And I think he also interviewed for the Falcons job.
Yeah. I don't think Harbaugh – I think the Falcons job is a done deal. With me hearing that – well, not hearing, but reading about that and Belichick having a 3-hour interview tells me basically, okay, I'm the Atlanta Falcons. Here's what our expectations for you for this upcoming season. What do you want to do? This is what we want. Then it's Belichick, his turn to say what he wants in this culture, contract-wise, how long he might want to stay, what does he need, who does he need. And I got to talking about this with my dad. If Belichick ends up in Atlanta, what pick do they have, Michael? 8, 9, something like that? I know
it's top 10.
Yeah, I know it's top 10. I think you might be looking at Drake May or Daniels. I don't think Atlanta would.
Atlanta's at 8.
They're at 8.
So I think they're in a perfect spot to get Jaden Daniels.
I think
they're right behind the Titans.
I don't. Do you think they jump up?
They may trade up, but I don't think Desmond Ridder or Taylor Heineke is the answer.
Yeah.
There at quarterback. And with how many weapons they have around him, I mean, you got to find somebody to get them the ball.
Yeah, you got to find somebody to get them the ball because Riddler, obviously, he was a good quarterback at Cincinnati when he played. Took them to the college football playoffs, but they were no match against. Was it Georgia they played?
Alabama.
Yeah, they were no match against Alabama. But I mean, Riddler, he's a good quarterback. I mean, he can obviously, he might not be the answer that Atlanta was looking for, but there's another team out there that would give him a chance. I mean, obviously Baker Mayfield, he looked real good, and then he wasn't answered for Cleveland, went to Carolina. That didn't work out, went to the Rams, kind of raised his stock up again, and obviously looks like he's the guy for Tampa Bay. But, Riddler, he can obviously do that as well. But back to Atlanta, I mean, Belichick, if he takes that job, I wouldn't be shocked on draft day to hear the Atlanta Falcons have made a trade with the Patriots or the Chargers, or I don't think the Chargers would do that just because they need an offensive lineman. Because, talking about the draft, obviously, in my opinion, I think Harrison will be going number 1 to Chicago. I really think Chicago is going to keep Fields.
Well, I think the only team in the top, in the top 7 picks above Atlanta that don't really need a quarterback would be the Giants. Because I still, Daniel Jones he's had some injury problems and he didn't look the best this year when he was playing, but I think they're the only team really in front of them, and maybe LA with Herbert.
Yeah, LA's not going to take a quarterback. They've got
and
Herbert.
Neither is Arizona, but I don't think those teams will trade down.
Yeah, I don't think those teams will trade down as well. I think you're right because they've got those offensive tackles that nobody's just going to pass up on because you got the offensive tackle, Alt from Notre Dame, you got the one from Penn State, and then you got the one from Alabama as well, J.C. Latham. So, I mean, Tennessee, in my opinion, should get one of those guys unless Harrison some way, somehow drops into the hands of Tennessee where, okay, you can't miss this if you're Tennessee. Yeah. But then again, I don't know. But, with Belichick, more likely, in my opinion, going into Atlanta, that could be a possibility. Philly, we still don't know. The Raiders, I think, will bring, is his name Antonio Pierce, the interim?
Yeah.
I think they'll promote him to be the full-time head coach.
I think they would be stupid not to.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the life that he gave them, I mean, they were pretty much dead and gone, and
They
then he
went
took
5-4
over.
with him at the time.
Yes, and listen, that Raiders roster, nothing against them. It's not a Super Bowl winning roster right now.
But they
he
love
brought, he,
Pierce.
but they loved him so much, and they had a 70-point outing this year, or 63 or something like that. But
yeah, I mean, they look like a totally different team, and they competed against the Chiefs and other teams like that when it came to divisional rounds.
Yeah, they beat the Chiefs on Christmas or Christmas Eve or something like that.
I mean, it's just it's different when you bring in another voice in the locker room, especially somebody like that when it's an interim head coach. Jumping off topic to another sport, NBA, when Brooklyn, let go of Steve Nash and they brought in Jacques Vaughn, and they loved him as interim coach and they promoted him to a head coach. So, I mean, well deserved there. But, I think Pierce, he'll be the head coach for the Raiders. I think Harbaugh will end up with the Chargers. Belichick will end up in Atlanta. I don't know about the New Orleans job yet. I know it hadn't been officially announced, but I have a bad feeling about their head coach down there.
Yeah. And I hate to jump a little off topic, but the Chiefs this weekend, that Patrick Mahomes has played a playoff game on the road.
First time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you think about that?
I mean, I think
because I don't think Buffalo's gonna be underground. I mean, they may still be. I'm not sure how it is over there. I mean, it was bring your shovel to work day, against the Steelers, but
it's gonna be a dogfight for sure. But then again, can't ever count out Patrick Mahomes because I believe in the postseason, I think the record said he's 7-1 against teams with a winning record in the postseason.
I think he's 12-3 overall in the playoffs.
12-3 and 7-1 against teams with a winning record. So, I mean, what was this? The fourth year in a row they're gonna meet up in the divisional round.
Yeah. I know it's been every year that I've been in college.
Yeah.
And I think it may have been the year before that too. So I think this is the fourth straight year.
Yeah. So I mean, it's going to be.
Man, I mean, I love this little rivalry.
Oh, I love it too.
Because I mean, we had the great game a couple weeks ago with the Kadarius Toney offsides call.
And then
that's just added to it.
You're right. It's going to be, and it's in Buffalo this time. Every time it was in Kansas City, it was at Arrowhead, but this time it's at Buffalo, so it's going to be different. But jumping into that, we'll go to our Pick'em section. As last week, Michael, we talked about it. We made our picks, and all of us ended up 5-1. The only one, you and Sam had the same exact one.
We had the Eagles.
Y'all both had the Eagles. I took the Bucks, and then, boy, I sound like an idiot whenever I picked the Cowboys.
Picked the Cowboys?
Yeah, I picked the Cowboys, and y'all picked the Packers. So we're all 5-1 to start off the wild card week. So we'll get into this one. I've already got Sam's pick because I didn't know what the weather looked like, and I texted him the other day and if he was going to be able to make it, and he said he wasn't going to be able to due to weather. So I got his picks, and they surprised me. So we'll talk about his picks whenever that time comes. So we'll start with the first game on Saturday. It's going to be the 4-seed Texans taking on the 1st-seed Ravens. Michael Marks, who are you taking?
Man, I mean, I love C.J. Stroud, and they absolutely whooped the Browns, but it's hard to pick against the Ravens, man. They've looked good the past couple months.
Yeah. I'm about to say, I don't know, just because Lamar, he's had that monkey on his back, that chip on his shoulder about not getting out of the first round of whether it's the wild card or the divisional round. That's always been his issue, getting in and out of that first round.
But I remember I think it was his second or third year in the league when he won MVP and had the Ravens as the 1 seed. They brought the Titans up there on a Saturday night and got spanked.
Whooped them. I believe they went. That was the year before they went to the 7 seed, the 7-team playoff format when Tennessee was because Tennessee was the 6th seed and they played the Patriots, the 3rd seed, beat the Patriots. And then they went into the Baltimore.
They went into New England and into Baltimore on back-to-back weeks and got
crushed
big
both
wins.
teams.
Big win.
Derrick Henry had over 200 yards.
Yeah, but he had like 400 yards in those 2 weeks.
They couldn't stop him. He even had a touchdown. He had a touchdown.
Yeah.
Pass, not just a touchdown, a touchdown pass. That's how dominant Tennessee was that night. But I'm with you. I think it's the Ravens this week. Obviously,
I think it'll be a close game. Don't count out C.J. Stroud.
Oh, yeah, don't count C.J.
He will be if he wins this week, he'll be the first rookie quarterback, I believe, to ever play in the AFC Championship game, and
I didn't know that.
Would also be the first rookie to play in the Super Bowl if they make it any further than that.
Yeah, I mean, C.J. Stroud, he's the man. I mean, there's been several people talking about, is he the best rookie quarterback season-wise in the history of the NFL? I mean,
pretty close.
His resume's there. So we've got those picks. Sam took the Texans, so me and you were on the same boat. He took the Texans, so obviously he's running with the Cinderella story. The next game after that, it'll be the late game on Saturday. It's the 7th seed Packers taking on the number 1 seed 49ers at San Francisco. Michael Marks, who are you taking?
It's hard to pick against San Francisco, man. So give me the 49ers, but again, similarly to the Ravens and Texans game, I think the 49ers and Packers will play a tight game. I just think that, I think Jordan Love and Brock Purdy are very similar in, skill level, I guess you could say. But if you just look at the weapons around, the 49ers, I mean, they got, you got Ayuk and Debo and George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey. The Packers, they have Romeo Doubs, who had a great game against the Cowboys. Christian Watson's been kind of quiet. Aaron Jones had a big game. We'll see if the Packers can keep it up, but give me San Francisco.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that I'm going to take San Francisco as well. I think San Francisco, they're the better team overall. I think it'll be a close game. AJ Dusty and I were talking about on the show on Wednesday about San Francisco and the Packers, the way the Packers been playing lately. They got off to they ended the season on a good way. Went into Dallas, crushed Dallas. They're going into San Francisco. Obviously, they're not afraid. They're young, but they're not afraid. They got Jordan Love, who looks like he's the next big thing for Green Bay, and he might be a top 10, maybe possibly top 5 quarterback next year. We'll just have to see. But I think San Francisco, when it comes to halftime or in the third quarter, I think they'll start pulling away. So I'm going to take San Francisco as well. So it'll be Sunday now. The 4-seed Buccaneers take on the 3rd-seed Lions at Detroit. Michael Marks, who are you taking?
Give me the Lions. I am still on the Dan Campbell train. And listen, if you did not watch that Lions and Rams game, I believe it was I don't know if it was Saturday or Sunday night. That was a fantastic game. That was the only close playoff game we had.
24-23 was the final score.
And man, that lived up to every bit of hype that it was built up to. You had Matt Stafford, played for the Lions forever, went to the Rams. They kind of traded him for a Super Bowl. Jared Goff, it kind of been cast away for the Rams, bring him to the Lions, and Detroit, it has prevailed, and I'm carrying that ship as far as I can take it.
Absolutely, and y'all could just you could just see the Detroit fans. I believe I can't remember what it was, but it was the first playoff win since 19. Way back
or something like that. I think it was 92.
It was way back, but obviously you saw the fans; they were crying. Eminem was there, getting the crowd going. He was going wild. And
that was the biggest thing that's happened in Detroit since the Bad Boys Pistons walked out in the late 80s.
Yep, especially, obviously, that NFL stadium hadn't been rocking like that in a while, and they're going to have another playoff game against the Buccaneers. And that locker room after the game, man, it was emotional for Jared Goff. I don't know how he kept it in like he did. Obviously, Dan Campbell says some things that we're not allowed to say on this stream, but basically him saying that, hey, you might not be good enough for the Rams, but you're good enough to Detroit. So that's obviously awesome to hear from your head coach. So I'm with you.
And listen, I love the redemption story for Jared Goff because really, I mean, he got the Rams to a Super Bowl against Tom Brady and the Patriots and almost won it.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, they have a bad year and they just cast him away. For Matt Stafford, now that LA did end up getting a Super Bowl out of it, I'd love to see Detroit kind of get their end of the deal.
Yeah, it's a win. I think it's going to be a win-win for both sides. LA, they got their Super Bowl, and maybe Detroit hopefully goes on to. That's obviously.
And listen, that Detroit team is still very young. We could have a couple more years of this.
Yeah.
And Amon-Ra St. Brown has so far looked like the best receiver in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude was all over the field.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially they got our guy, Hendon Hooker. I'm not trying to say that I want Jared Goff out, but I'd love to see Hendon Hooker on the field. And, maybe when Jared Goff's time, his time is to retire, then Hendon Hooker can take over the throne. So I'd love to see that. So I'm going to take the Lions as well. And final game of the week, the big game that everybody's been talking about. It's the rivalry. The number 3 Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, take on the number 2 seed Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen at Buffalo this time. Michael Marks, who are you taking?
Well, I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth a minute ago, talking about how can you pick against Patrick Mahomes. And I saw the Bills had plenty, a bit of injury problems against Pittsburgh last Sunday. So, give me Kansas City. It's hard to pick against Patrick Mahomes. First road playoff game. I think it's a good time to get your first road playoff win.
Yeah, and I agree with you about the road win of having all the guys there. Obviously, Kansas City, they were the better team against the Dolphins that time. Freezing weather, obviously the fourth coldest game in postseason history for the NFL. It's the rivalry game between those two teams. Obviously, that's going to be a jam-packed stadium. It doesn't matter really with the snow. I don't know, like you said, we don't know what the stadium looks like. Obviously, the field's going to be prepped and ready. It's going to be cold, once again, but both teams have seen that before. So it's going to be a game where both teams are going to bring their all for that game. However,
we've seen this same game, 3 or 4 weeks in a row, or 3 or 4 years in a row. I think it's going to be a good one.
However, I like Patrick Mahomes. I love Travis Kelce, but I think it's their time. I'm going to take the Bills. I'm going to take the Bills this week.
It was hard for me not to take them, but I wanted to mix it up a little bit. My last pick last week was a little bit of an outlier. I think I'm going to do the same thing this week.
Yeah, I think all of our picks are kind of all over the places. I picked the Ravens, 49ers, Lions, Bills. You took the Ravens, 49ers, Lions, Chiefs, so we obviously had the same picks except the Bills and the Chiefs. And Sam, I mean, hey, props to him for going bold.
Hey, he's going
I
for
mean,
underdogs.
If Sam hits on these, he might be a rich man if he was a gambling man, but he went Texans, Packers, Lions, and Bills. So he's definitely he's on a different. He's looking at it different than we are. So, I mean, hey, I'm excited for.
Listen, to be honest, did any two teams look as good last weekend as the Texans and the Packers?
Yeah, the Texans and the Packers for sure. So,
and the Ravens and 49ers have each had a week off.
Yeah. So I mean, anyway, so that thing popped up on your screen again. So we're gonna have to start another meeting. We're gonna have to figure that out. So with that, we'll go to commercial break and we'll get into our final segment of the Q&A here on the Hayden Burks Show.
Whether you're looking to spruce up the interior or exterior of your home or business, trust Lawrenceburg Glass to provide a one-of-a-kind product. From windows to mirrors, shower doors, custom framing, storefront installations, and everything in between, Lawrenceburg Glass takes pride in our quality craftsmanship and strong attention to detail. With us, your customer experience always exceeds expectations. We're reliable, on time, and we deliver stunning results. Lawrenceburg Glass. Our passion is reflected in our work.
Lawrenceburg Flooring and More is your premier source for hardwood, laminate, luxury vinyl tile, sheet vinyl, residential and commercial carpet, carpet tiles, ceramic and porcelain tile, waterproof floating floor, plus blinds and shutters. Lawrenceburg Flooring and More is also home to all name brands and can tackle projects big and small. Installation? You're covered with installers who've got years of experience and stand behind their work. Let Lawrenceburg Flooring and More make your design dreams a reality. 2760 Highway 43 North, or visit lawrenceburgflooringandmore.com.
Like you, our roots are in Lawrence County, providing banking for every stage of life since 1934. Lawrenceburg Federal Bank has been not just your bank, but also your friend, helping you with home loans, consumer and auto loans, and your everyday personal banking needs. Lawrenceburg Federal offers you a warm smile and personal experience, as well as the conveniences of modern-day online banking, mobile banking, and telebanking. Lawrenceburg Federal Bank, your neighbor and friend, located at 118 West Gain Street, next to the courthouse.
Are you looking for the perfect refrigerator? What about a new stove or washer or dryer? It only makes sense to shop at the one place that specializes in appliances, top to bottom, big or small. And that's Kelly Appliance in Lawrenceburg. Kelly Appliance is home to all major name brands, including LG. LG makes life good with a full selection of refrigerators, cooking appliances, dishwashers, microwaves, and more, including appliances made right here in Tennessee. Family owned and family operated. Stop by Kelly Appliance on Jerry Street in Lawrenceburg today.
Jack Davis Insurance, located at 201 West Gain Street in Lawrenceburg, has you covered through life's obstacles. Facing those challenges is easier together. That's why Jack Davis specializes in group insurance. Cover the most valuable aspect of your business, your employees, with coverage for life, accident, cancer, critical illness, short-term disability, dental, and vision. Jack Davis can customize to meet every need. Serving Lawrence and surrounding counties since 1987. Contact Jack Davis Insurance today at 931-242-5225.
If you're stuck, then you're in luck. Call Tyler McDowell with In-Service Towing, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for quick, reliable service. When you find yourself in a bind, In-Service offers full-service towing and recovery services as well as vehicle lockouts, jump starts, and emergency roadside assistance. Family-owned, family-operated. When you need a hand, call In-Service Towing or ask for them by name. Serving Southern Tennessee and North Alabama. Phone number 931-843-9098 or visit inservicespecialties.com.
Hey guys, I'm Kyle Hammock, General Manager here at Heritage Automotive, your Chevy GMC dealer in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. I'm from Marshall County, Tennessee, where I went to Cornersville High School. I attended Cumberland University. After Cumberland, I went into the United States Marine Corps to serve the country. After that, I went right back into the car business. I'm very familiar with the car business. I have been around the car business pretty much my entire life. And my commitment to you is to ensure the most competitive new and used vehicle pricing on the market, as well as the best service around. Well, we'll treat you like family here at Heritage Automotive in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee.
Hey, this is Phil Hooper. Get the look you want for your favorite school, church, or business with apparel from HD Ink Screen Printing in Leoma, Tennessee. Got a logo you need embroidered or screen printed? Let HD Ink give you the professional look that sets the bar in today's world. We do fundraisers and custom designed apparel and so much more. Call today, 931-201-2961, or come see us at our new shop located at 26 Ingram Road in Leoma. Remember, HD Ink for the look you want and the look you deserve.
Flooring sets the tone throughout your home.
For flooring that makes the right first impression, start by choosing us, Floored by Justin.
A one-stop flooring destination. Our new location stands alone for unequaled customer service and selection. Owner Justin Story's mastery of custom hardwood inlays means every room can have a custom look. Discover how the right choice of hardwood, laminate, carpet, or tile can set the tone in your home. Contact Floored by Justin today.
Let me see if I can.
For decades, First Class Charter has provided high-quality motor coach transportation services to the Tennessee Valley. With numerous safety and cleanliness accreditations, First Class Charter is ready to make your group trip a reality. Contact us today by visiting firstclasscharter.net. First Class Charter, the official motor coach company of the North Alabama Lions.
Employee Resources Credit Union is an easy solution to banking, offering a personal, simple, yet modern way to bank. When you bank with ERCU, you are a shareholder, meaning you own a piece of the pie, and we make it easy with the convenience of digital banking, with service you won't find at another financial institution, including low to zero fees and incredible rates. We have the technology you need with the personal service you deserve, right here in your own neighborhood. Employee Resources Credit Union, not for profit, for service.
I'm Mike Keith, and my friends at Elliott Johnson Insurance have a great partner in Auto Owners Insurance. Auto Owners makes it easy to get life, home, car, or business insurance. Let Elliott Johnson Insurance find the Auto Owners policy that makes a difference in your life. Call Elliott Johnson Insurance at one of their 3 locations, Florence, Loretta, and Lawrenceburg. Elliott Johnson Insurance, moving forward for our clients every day.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
And welcome welcome back to the Egg Sports Network here on the Hayden Burks Show. As we're here for our final segment of the day. Michael Martin is our Q&A segment, and we'll start it off once again with a face we're pretty familiar with, Carter Henson. His question is, what are your QB rankings for the remaining playoff teams? So, obviously, it's kind of hard to rank them when it comes to not divisions, but conferences with the NFC and the AFC. So, I did mine in divisions, Michael. I don't know how you did yours, but
I did the same way.
Yeah, so I'll let you go first. So, what are you thinking? We'll start with NFC and put them in your order.
All right, so NFC, I hate to put him in last because we talk so good about him all show, but fourth, I'm going to do Baker Mayfield. He had a great week. I just don't know if I can rank him that high yet. I think third, Jordan Love, he had a great week again. Last week he's looked really good this year. His first year is, under the reins of Matt LaFleur and that Green Bay offense. At two, it's hard to pick anybody other than Brock Purdy just because of how well he's looked this year. I mean, he's got the weapons around him to make him look like such a great quarterback. And, and no hate on him. I mean, he's looked really good with these guys around him. And number one, I'm a huge Jared Goff guy this year. I mean, that kid has been slinging it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm with you as well. Me personally, I can't put the first seed QBs like Lamar and Brock Purdy at number one just because we haven't seen them in the postseason like that. So I'll just go give a fair warning. I'm not going to put the number one seed guys at number one right now just because we're in the playoffs. And so, I mean, we'll have to see about that, how they play this upcoming week in the divisional round. So I'll start with NFC as well. For my fourth overall, I mean, he played so good, and I'm not trying to throw shade at him because it's his first postseason. But I'm going to go with Jordan Love. I know he that's his first postseason game. That's his only postseason win as well. But I'm going to put him at fourth now. Obviously, if we get this question next week and he's still in the postseason, I might have to change my mind because he might be number one. It really just depends on who they play. But I'm going to go with Jordan Love. Fourth, obviously, Baker Mayfield. He's third. Had a phenomenal game against Philadelphia. Was slinging the football up and down the field and just reestablished himself as a quarterback as well in the NFL. Number two, give me Brock Purdy. Obviously, his run last year, everybody fell in love with him. He took San Francisco to the NFC Championship game. They lost that one to Philadelphia, but he was hurt he got hurt that game, so we never know. Maybe San Francisco could have been in the Super Bowl that year, but injuries. They take a toll when it comes to football and all sports in the world. And number one, give me Jared Goff after that performance. Just like you said earlier, the Rams just kind of let him go to Detroit. Rams won a Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford. Now it's time the revenge tour. And Jared Goff, he for sure did that and, brought Detroit their first playoff win in a very, very long time. I mean, we don't even know how long it's been. Way before we were even thought of. So that's how long it's been. So that's the NFL or excuse me, the NFC side of it. And we'll jump to the AFC now. As Michael, go ahead.
All right, so at number four, again, it's kind of like similar with the Baker Mayfield thing because I love C.J. Stroud, but I'm gonna have to put him at fourth just because look at the AFC's quarterbacks we got right here. I'm gonna have C.J. Stroud at four.
Stacked.
I hate to do this. I feel like putting him in the bottom half is wrong, but Josh Allen at three. I'm gonna put Lamar at two. I've been a big fan of Lamar this year. If you remember in our NFL show that we did, one of my hot takes was I think Lamar Jackson's going to be back to MVP caliber. I said he may not win it, but I think he's going to be back up there.
I think he'll win it.
I think he's won it this year. Yeah. And then at number one, I mean, again, everybody's a little tired of it, but it's hard to pick against Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that dude is probably in my opinion, definitely the most talented quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm with you as well when it comes to that order. I do have a few tweaks as well and a few things, but C.J. Stroud, his first playoff appearance and first playoff win against a very good Cleveland team. Obviously, they didn't have Deshaun Watson, but Joe Flacco, he did his thing with Cleveland. They went to the playoffs. They just went. They played at Texas, so they did have home field advantage, but they definitely did take care of business against Cleveland, and they're going to be playing a very good Ravens team with, like you said, more than likely going to be the MVP of the year, Lamar Jackson. But I gotta give C.J. Stroud the fourth spot just because he's not proven really yet. Obviously, he's going to be the Offensive Rookie of the Year, in my opinion. No questions asked. I believe both the Offensive Rookie of the Year and C.J. Stroud will be, he will win that award. And then I think another Texan will win the Defensive Player of the Year in Will Anderson Jr. from Alabama. So I think Texans got a bright future as well there. But I got to put C.J. Stroud at number 4. Number 2, oh, man. I know I was talking good about him. You were talking good about him just then, too. But he hadn't shown up in the playoffs. I got to go with Lamar at 3. I got to go Lamar at 3 just because I'm going to hold it on him until he proves me wrong. I hope he proves me wrong this weekend against C.J. Stroud. But I know that if the Texans go in there, I ain't going to say it's going to be a blowout or anything. I'm picking the Ravens as well because I'm hoping he gets that monkey off his shoulder because I don't like hearing negative narratives about people. I just don't. That's not one thing I really like when it comes. I know that's what we talk about. We always have to give our opinions, but it's not something we like talking about. Then again, I got to go with Lamar at 3 just because, he's a regular season guy right now. He's got to change that narrative. He's got to flip the page. He's got to go to the next chapter of, hey, I've won MVP multiple times. I've won the MVP. More than likely, I'm going to be a 2-time MVP, but I haven't won the big one. I haven't won the divisional round. I haven't gotten to the AFC Championship. I haven't won the Super Bowl yet. I want to go down as one of the greatest QBs of all time, and I think this is a start to do that, but I got to put him at number 3 right now. Number 2, I got to go with Josh Allen. I mean, I know we've talked about him all this year and given him, some of us are giving him a little bit of crap about, turning the ball over. Obviously, they were 6-6 at one point, and boy, after they let go of their offensive coordinator, that switch has been flipped, and they won their division, beat Miami in the last game of the year to win the division. Obviously, they beat a depleted Steelers team, but I mean, it's going to be that narrative for a long time. It's kind of like the NBA with LeBron and Steph Curry always matching up when it came to the finals, Cleveland versus Golden State, and I think it's kind of the same way the divisional round with the Bills and the Chiefs. They always seem to match up and all their roads collide at once, but I got to go Josh Allen number 2, and like you said, number 1, you can't deny him, 2-time MVP, an MVP and a 2-time Super Bowl champion. I got to go Patrick Mahomes number 1. So those are our rankings when it comes to QB rankings so far. Then again, those could change next week as well, depending on what happens this weekend between all the teams in the division round and then going into the AFC and NFC Championship next week. So we got another question. This was also by Carter Henson, as he's typing today. What are you doing, Carter? I haven't seen you in a while. But any chance Chicago trades picks and racks up high picks and rides with Fields? I don't think they're going to trade the number. They have the first pick and the 10th pick, don't they, Michael? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, 1 and 10.
1 and 10. They might trade 10. I don't know if they will. I don't think they will, but obviously I've been looking into it, what Chicago needing. I mean, the narrative for the whole year was, okay, Caleb Williams is going to go to Chicago. Justin Fields is a very good quarterback still in this league. There's plenty of people like Atlanta. Atlanta would want him. But
I would say I think there's a chance that maybe Atlanta or New England tries to trade up for a top pick to get a quarterback because since Chicago is riding with Justin Fields apparently, I don't think they need the number 1 pick to get Marvin Harrison. I think you can get him at 3 or 4.
Yeah, I agree. And then again, this is me. I would hold on to that number 1 pick unless it's just a offer you can't deny where it's like Draft Day, the movie Draft Day, where you're getting offered 3 first-round picks for the number 1 overall pick. That's a trade you just can't deny. But, I mean, I think Chicago's going to take Harrison with the number 1 overall pick, and I don't know what they'll do with the 10th pick. They might trade it. Who knows? But then again, I wouldn't be surprised if I've heard rumors and I've read about it and I've listened to people and I've seen a bunch of mock drafts where Washington might pick up that phone and ask, what do you want for that first overall pick, and see they might take a Caleb Williams or a Drake May or Jalen Daniels, just one of those guys possibly with the number 1 overall pick. We might just have to see, because obviously the Commanders, they're in rebuild mode. They fired their head coach, Ron Rivera. That's also another position that's up for grabs. Has it been I haven't read about the Commanders. Has that position been taken by anybody yet?
I don't think so. That is definitely a very low end job. There's, the Commanders are definitely in a bit of a bad spot right now.
There's a lot of money in Washington, though. Obviously, Kevin Durant. That I believe it's one of the top 3 NFL franchise money wise when it comes to.
Yes, they definitely have the money. So I mean, they can definitely bring somebody in. But I mean, I think Ron Rivera is a great coach, and if he couldn't do anything with them, I mean, at that point, who can?
It might be an organizational issue there. Of course, then again,
they've had their fair share.
They've had their fair share with other things, but yeah, I think Chicago. Obviously, I think they're going to take Harrison. In my opinion, I would take Harrison with the #1 overall pick and stick with Fields because we talked about it. I mean, Fields is wanted in Chicago. I can't remember what game it was, but we've seen it and we heard that Chicago fans were saying we want Fields. I think it's finally.
And they have a right to. I mean, listen, he always starts the year so rough, but it's really because Chicago hasn't given him much around him. I mean, DJ Moore had several great games this year, which show you he can get the ball around, but he doesn't have much behind him. I mean, he's got a couple of offensive linemen. I mean, but
DeLon Wright, he was a big-time offensive lineman for Tennessee, and he's having a tremendous year for the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, he's a top 10 pick, and I think it was worthy. I mean, if Chicago, give him Marvin Harrison and then get him another offensive lineman, I don't think Alt will be available at 9, where their next pick is. But we'll
have to see.
Maybe, like you talked about, maybe they trade that number 9 pick to, LA and try to get, Alt or, some of these offensive linemen that are in this draft.
Yeah, I mean, you never know with Chicago. You never know. I mean, they might just say, okay, you know what? Well, we're going to clean house regardless. We're going to keep a few of our guys. We're going to trade Fields. We don't know about Caleb Williams. I mean, I'm not.
I feel bad. I feel bad for whichever NFL franchise. I feel bad for which franchise gets stuck with him. I think he's a great player, but I think all the up here stuff is going to end up being a problem.
When you say you want ownership and you want a portion of a franchise when you get there as a rookie, you don't have that right to say that.
The New York Jets denied that to Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, so if Aaron Rodgers can't get it, then Caleb Williams sure as heck cannot.
Yeah, so I don't know. But we'll just have to see about that. But then again, I don't know. That day's coming. Do you know when the draft is? I don't know when specifically the draft is.
This clock up here says 97 days and 6 hours, so we're just outside 3 months away from the draft.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. Then again, it could change. There's a lot of time. Obviously, we don't know what organizations with head coaches and new GMs coming in and what the path is for some teams. Obviously, Tennessee Titans, that's a big-time name for all of us, even though I've talked to you about it. I've talked to the guys. I've voiced my opinion about Tennessee and their organizational decisions in the past. I guess we can talk about that real quick. But, I mean, just where do you go if you're Tennessee? Obviously, more than likely they want to keep Will Levis, Ron how do you say his last name?
Rand Carthen.
Rand Carthen, yeah, that's how you say it. But
I think they're in a very similar position to Chicago. I think they're, and they actually have very similar records. Chicago ended up 7-10.
They got to have a lineman. They got to.
They need an offensive line, and they have a good young quarterback. Just listen, I'm not the biggest Will Levis fan. I was going up there until he made those comments about Tennessee fans and on the college side of things. I think they need an offensive lineman. I think they need some receivers. I think their defense is in a well enough spot. I mean, the Titans games most weeks were very low scoring, so that meant their defense.
Well, I mean, obviously the big names I think are safer. Will Levis, Jeffrey Simmons. He was hurt at the end of the year, but he's definitely going to be. He's an all-pro guy. He's not going anywhere. Derrick Henry's more than likely out the door, but they got a good.
Him and Tannehill are going. I think the Titans trying to get some young. Athletic pieces,
Spears will be there. I don't know what they're going to do with D-Hop. I don't know what they're going to do with Traylon Burks. We'll just have to see what they do with the receivers.
They can keep both of them, get you a receiver in the 3rd or 4th round that, had a good couple years in college that, has some good, attributes maybe, about him and then just try to build up that line.
Yeah, well they got to take a tackle. That's the key. But, I mean, they could pull what Houston did last year, have the number 2 overall pick and then trading with Arizona for the number 3 overall pick, and I mean, I don't think Harrison will be there, but they might take the Washington wide receiver. Try to trade up and get him.
Oh yeah. Listen, I think Odunze is going to be available late first round. So maybe, if they want to try to trade with maybe a team like Indianapolis or something like that, get, an offensive lineman that they already have, a solid offensive lineman, and then, maybe get down there and try to take Rome Odunze or someone like that later in the first round.
Well, I know a team that probably would be on the phone because they traded basically all their first round picks and probably their future of the franchise just for Deshaun Watson, the Cleveland Browns, as Houston Texans own that pick. I believe it's the 23rd pick in the draft. I mean, Tennessee might could give them a call, and if one of those receivers are still available, I would probably make that consideration of trading, maybe a multiple third or fourth round picks to maybe get that number 1 pick. But we'll have to see. So
it's a very good receiver class. I think that this draft class is very offensive heavy. So if there's some, and as bad as I think we had a 70-point game, we had a 30-point or 67-point game or 63 or whatever from the Raiders. I think the NFL as a whole this year offensively was just poor. So I think this draft is really going to help a lot of teams.
Absolutely, especially those teams that are looking for a direction. They're looking to rebuild and all that stuff. So I can't wait for the season. So with that being said, Michael, it's been a good show. I know you're back in Knoxville, just dying for school to start back up. I know.
Well, they already canceled Monday, to allow people an extra day to travel. And if I knew that, I'd be in person with you at the studio right now.
Oh, hey. At least we get to figure out this Zoom thing. And obviously with our issues we've been having to restart meetings, and the meeting's only 40 minutes. So we're learning while we're doing it. But, hey, we're still enjoying it. So, Michael, it was a good show. Appreciate you having us. And that's going to do it here at the X Sports Network. This is the Hayden Burks Show. We'll see you next Friday here at 11 a.m.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.